You are one of the go-to, if not the go-to Democrat in the Senate on the issue of reauthorizing the Export-Import Bank.
Yeah.
Last week you met with President Trump at the White House. You tweeted about that meeting and said that this came up. What came up and what happened?
Well, this has been such a long journey. Not only were we able to get it reauthorized with almost 70% of the Congress agreeing, but now we don't have a quorum. And so I've been pressing...
What does that mean, a quorum?
Well, you can do small loans and small credits, but you cannot do anything over $10 million unless you get approval from the bank board. Right now, we don't have a fully functioning bank board. So there's no quorum on the bank board, which means that we can't do any credit over $10 million, which means that there's $30 billion of exports, meaning almost 180,000 jobs in the pipeline that are not getting approved. And so my argument to the president is, look, let's get the bank up and running. You care desperately about keeping American manufacturing in this country. American manufacturing is being exported right now because we don't have a fully functioning XM bank. Let's get it done. And, you know, he said he was very agreeable to it in December and certainly said, look, tell everyone I believe in the XM bank, that I'm ready to get the bank functioning.
Senator, his opposition on this isn't necessarily Democrats, but it could potentially be members of his own party, particularly those in the Tea Party. Did he seem to understand that, and how would he address that?
No, he actually did understand it. We had a long conversation, and when we were in Trump Tower, and a debate between staff at the time, back in December, and you know, people saying, "Look, I think the speaker hasn't liked the bank," and he said, "Well, you know, if it means jobs for American workers, I'm for it, and I've seen what happens with jobs moving to Canada and to France. I'm not going to be part of that, and I'm going to get the bank up and running."
So he, I guess, could appoint folks to the board in order to
we need one appointment. We've got an acting one more appointment. That's the way it's been. Senator Shelby, who was the head of the banking committee, refused to report that Republican appointee out of committee. That stopped us last fall. We've been pushing for this for a long time. We want to get this bank up and running as soon as possible this year.
So do you think that tomorrow when he's going to Charleston, South Carolina tomorrow to tour a Boeing plant, do you have any predictions about what he might say, or potentially do we anticipate an XM announcement tomorrow?
Well, I'm hoping we will get an XM announcement tomorrow. I know from folks that I know within the White House that he didn't just say it to me. He then directed staff and was pretty adamant that this get done. I think it would be an excellent opportunity for him to say to the Boeing employees, I care about you, and I'm going to get you the tools you need to be successful in the international market. And so I'm hopeful, but I think I would expect that he will reiterate his support for the XM Bank.
Quickly, you along with some of your colleagues, including Senator Joe Manchin, for example, of West Virginia, as well as some others, have really emerged as a group of Democrats who have been willing to work with this new White House, despite vehement opposition on a host of other issues, as well as other Democrats in your party who have blocked him at every turn. What do you say, or how do you navigate that, and what does that mean for the political landscape and for policymaking in such a partisan Washington that feels increasingly partisan?
You know, I have a job to do. If you think that I can wait for 4 more years to do this job, then you don't know me very well. I mean, I am going to do everything that I can do to help my state be successful, and that means getting the XM Bank up and running and supporting my manufacturing businesses and jobs. That means, you know, talking to the administration about how their position on trade is affecting agriculture in my state. There's a place where I have disagreement with what's happening right now. I think there's a lot of uncertainty among grower groups on whether we're going to be able to access Mexican markets, whether we're going to continue to have great relationships in Canada and really across the world. And so we're very concerned as a group of agricultural folks who are dependent on trade about how we make sure that this administration understands that ag trade is hugely important to the trade deficit. And so I don't have time to play partisan political games. I want to get stuff done. And I think that the best opportunity to get stuff done is to find some place in the middle where we can exist. And the good thing about this administration is I don't think they're overly ideological. I think that, when you look at the Tea Party and Heritage, this is a great example, the XM. They aren't willing to walk that line with the Club for Growth and Heritage because they understand the importance of the XM Bank. That's an opportunity, that's a message to all of us. If we can make a plausible argument for what we want in terms of public policy, we can get things done for the American public.
Senator, just one final question. So then, I guess, to your colleagues in your party who have opposed at every turn this administration, you say what?
Well, I say you have to understand that it's important that the American public see us working together. That's how we're going to grow confidence and get things done and lower the rancor. Now, I'm not willing to say that their positions aren't principled, and I don't think it's obstruction just for the case of obstruction. There's been a number of the nominees I've opposed, not because I want to be obstructing, but I want people to know that those nominees didn't share my values and didn't share my ideas for the future of the country. But we can't obstruct just to obstruct. We have got to be working together for the American people. We have 4 years, at least 4 years, if not 8 years, of trying to figure this out. We can't stall out the American economy for 8 years if we really, really care about the American people.